If you want to love God more, watch this video because Jesus gives us a great answer in Luke chapter 7. In Luke chapter 7, Jesus went to the house of a Pharisee named Simon, and a woman came in and started wiping his hair with her feet. Now the Pharisee was self-righteous, thinking to himself, man, if this guy was a prophet, he would know how much a sinner this woman is. But Jesus knew his thoughts and decided to tell him a story. In the story, there's a creditor who forgave two debts. The first debt was 50 denarii, 50 days' wages worth of money, and the second was 500 denarii worth of money. Then Jesus asked the Pharisee, which of them will love him more? And the Pharisee replied, I suppose the one whom he forgave more. And here's the lesson. In verse 47, Jesus said, but to whom little is forgiven, the same loves little. As in, when we know how much God has forgiven us, it will help us to love him more. So if you want to love God more, just look to the cross. Look at how much he has forgiven you. And the more you understand that, the more you love him. If you struggle with loving God more, here's a great frame I learned from Paul Washer. Think about a godly and loving husband. How does he become like this? Does he just pull himself up and say, hey, I have to love my wife? Or maybe it's his wife. Maybe his wife is so virtuous that it draws out more affection from him. And that's the same way with God. When we understand who God is and how great he is, his mercy, his love, it will draw out more affection from us towards him. So that's my task for you today. Hey, seek to know more about God. And as you know more and more about him, you tend to love him more and more. Hey, if you want to love God more, I have a pretty good answer. See, inputs create outputs. If you want better results in an area of your life, you have to put in more work, put in more inputs. And I believe the same principle can apply to our relationship with God. The more you obey God and the more you learn of God, the more space you give yourself to grow in your love for God. Even when you don't feel like it, if you still have the inputs, you position your heart to grow and change. But remember, this isn't a simple cause and effect. It's through the Holy Spirit that we grow in our love for God as we seek after him. If you want to love God more, here's a simple frame that I learned from C.S. Lewis that'll help you. Ask yourself the question, what would someone who loves God be doing in this moment? Then do that. And as you do those actions, your heart tends to follow because your inputs create your outputs. In other words, when my inputs point to loving God more, the outcome tends to be to love God more. Not because I produce it from my own self-will, but because as I know more about God and understand how much he loves me, I tend to love him more.